Hey guys, it's Takasta here again. Welcome to another video review. So today I'll be reviewing the Artisan Shiden mousepad. This is actually part of three new mousepads that I bought. The first one, the Hyatt, the second one, the Shiden, and the third one, the Shiden Kai. I just haven't gone around to reviewing them, so I guess now I've got some time, so I'm going to be reviewing the Shiden and later the Shiden Kai. So the Shiden and the Shiden Kai are the more expensive mousepads. They're in Artisan line, more expensive than Zero, more expensive than the Hien. However, they're also dubbed the faster mousepad than the supposedly smoother mousepad, so I'll tell you all about that. It starts at a price of about 3,300 yen for the large one, and it goes down to I think 2,700 yen for the medium, and for the small it's like 2,200 yen or something. Can't exactly remember. But in terms of the size, again, I got the large pad, so comparing it to the other pads, you can see in the picture here, you can put like my HHKB and my Kinzu on it. So it's fairly very large. I personally like larger mouse pads because it's just more comfortable. In terms of its build quality, the most defining feature of the Shiden and the Shiden Kai is that it's much harder when you feel it, and compared to Hyatt or other cloth pads, it's a lot harder because in effect it's like a hybrid mouse pad. So it's very akin to that of the QPad CT I have here. Like I said before, the Hyatt feels like a hybrid mat, feels like a QPad CT, but it feels slightly rougher. This, for example, the Shiden, feels very, very smooth in the sense that QPad CT is, but it's actually a lot faster. So in terms of its build quality, it's just extremely, extremely nice. There's a slight like glossy kind of feel to the mousepad, if you can see in the pictures here. What they did actually, they added a glass coating onto the surface, which makes, I don't know what exactly that means, but it makes the glide just feel very extremely smooth, like gliding on glass, but you still have that kind of hardness of a glass pad, so it's not like an i2 or an ice mat. In terms of its size, sorry, you're talking about size. In terms of its padding, this here is the VE edition. So what is the VE edition? The VE edition is actually, compared to the other mouse pads, all it denotes is actually the anti-grip surface at the very, very bottom. So if you can see here in the picture, the anti-grip surface is not exactly the kind of bubbly feeling embossing that the other artisan pads use. It's just a different kind of grip. At first instance, you can tell it's not as nice a quality, but however, in terms of its grip, it does just as good as a job, or better. Like, supposedly it doesn't do as good of a job, but personally I think it does just as good as a job. You can apply a lot of force, and the mouse pad just would not move. And for all VE editions, because I talked about the hardness of the mat, so they have X soft, soft, medium, or hard, mid, and hard. For all VE editions, they applied, I think it's soft. So personally, I think the soft hardness is the best, because if it's very extremely hard, the mouse pad doesn't bounce back up. Whereas if it's soft, it does bounce a little bit. And if it's extra soft, like the Zero, it bounces quite a lot, or it goes down, sinks in quite a lot. So now moving on to the performance and the smoothness. So I was talking about how it's a glass coating, so it's very, very smooth. In terms of its performance, I think maybe I'll start off with the speed. It's extremely quick. It's quicker. It's almost as quick. It's not as quick as hard pads per se, but it's almost as quick. So I have my SNS here. You can see it's extremely quick on a hard pad, evidently. And then when I use it on the cloth pad, it almost achieves that kind of quickness, but on a cloth pad, because of the hybrid feel that you get from this mouse pad, because of the glass surface. So, and when I compare it to the initial move speed, because it's very, very quick, there's a very high initial move speed. So if you just move a little bit, the mouse moves. So, for example, like in cloth pads, slower traditional QCK or glass pads, when you move it, it takes a little bit of force to move it. But on the Shiden, you move it a bit, and it just slides very, very quickly. So if I can tell you here, I just move it a little bit, and it moves already. I'm barely applying any force. And moving on to the stop speed, because it's very quick, it stops slower as well, or stops not as quick. So basically, it's harder to stop, because when you move the mouse pad, it's gliding slower. So when you stop, it kind of glides for a little bit more. So you have to put more force into controlling it. So in this sense, it's not as good as Control, I personally think, as the Hyatt or even the Zero, but it's still acceptable. It won't like send your mouse flying like the in my opinion, the SteelSeries SX. However, it is still quite quick, so you have to pay attention to that. I guess in conclusion, it's a very, very nice pad. Like the first time I used it, it does really feel like you're gliding on air, somewhat, because of the type of unique smoothness it has to it. If I had to make a comparison, it's like the QPad CT, but it glides extremely, extremely quickly. So this is one of my more favorite pads because it just looks extremely nice, and just the texture of it is just resembles that of high quality. I've just become a very big fan of Artisans, so I'll continue supporting their products by testing out more of their products. So hope you guys like that review. Thanks for watching, and hope I'll be doing the Shiden review soon. Thanks.